I actually did replace the volume control on this radio here. That was a custom-made volume encoder, so I removed it, but nothing I could do but to make one out of three. These are the old spare parts, and now I finally made one. It clicks a little differently, but it clicks, should be fine. But the only problem, I actually tested it on the other radio. Alright, so now the first things first, it's dead, so I have no power on the pins that go onto the front panel. And then I was tracing the lines and looking, so it came down to this board. This board unfortunately is difficult to work on because I don't want to really undo it from all these pins, so I have to do it so it's just like kind of like loose like this, but it is what it is. And this is what you see on the board. You see these lines, but you see the spots here with the fluid. That's the acid that came out the capacitors, one of them at least. I already replaced this one because you replaced them all, and that is bad because it started to eat the metal. As you can see, the metal is being etched out. I cleaned it up a little bit to see how much I'm missing, but it seems like I'm not missing much. I had to take out the coil, which sits right around here. That is the coil right there. See this big block? And what I did find is one of the diodes, which is this huge one over here, is bad. So course of action will be is that I'm going to clean up these surfaces from acid, from whatever the acid damaged. I'm gonna put a little bit of a solder on the mark there, so whatever. Put the coil back in, and then I'm gonna put new capacitors in there. Okay, so after many more hours, I don't know, this became like a sportsmanship. So I had to take out the capacitor over here. I checked out all the lines, so everything's fine, but I found that there is no power going from the point on the big diode. I took it out too, by the way, just to see if it's dead or not. It turned out to be good, but there was no 12 volts going over to the other capacitor. Alright, so the radio is put back together, and I put in some heat paste, so the heat from chips transfers better into the heat sink, right? So that's the way it is. Alright, so this is the radio. The alarm is blinking, so I already put the code in. This is a dummy cassette, just there's nothing there. I use this cassette to put in there when I install Bluetooth adapters, but right now we're not putting the Bluetooth in here, so we're just leaving it as is. So first things first is the activation, so obviously put the power on. So like I said earlier, before I take out all these wires from my bench, I would rather fix the radio. I did two of my own, and there is another one here that I have, so let's just do this. The encoder is replaced. Now there is not going to be any music, it's going to be just a white noise, so we just have no copyright laws broken. So at this point, let's just do white noise only, so I can take all of these things off my bench so I can proceed with other projects. Alright, so this is just like some random radio station, so we have just the white noise, and I'm gonna switch over to the other channel. Left and right, that's all I need. So same situation applies here. Okay, so everything's fine. You can see the encoder it works perfectly fine. Same for the power switch. Power switch also works fine. And like I said earlier, this thing had the rigged encoder already, so that was not factory one, because factory one looks something like this, and it's easier for me to fix this one versus something that was installed in there. This is what was installed in there, and yeah, this is what was put in, and it was cut off, so I had to do the factory one I left alone because the knob itself was already enlarged, because whoever did this, they put the knob over the flat surface. So I mean, long story short, I had to do like a couple of different encoders that I had, and just put it together, and I also shaved off the shaft itself, so the encoder, the actual knob, sits pretty much factory as I can make it to be. Capacitors, some of them are laying around here, so they're all going to be gone. The old style fuse, that is just to be replaced just because, just let it be. So this is the radio white noise, and we'll put the tape in there. Tape goes in, tape plays, and because there is nothing on the tape, it's a dummy tape, so same thing. White noise. That's the maximum volume by the way, so it's like very, very loud. Not supposed to even do this, but for the video purposes I would. Alright, so we're gonna switch over to another channel. We have the sound, so as you can hear it, it picks up. The other side, same thing, picks up. You're not supposed to do this, like I said, but just for the video purposes, that's what I wanted to do. So at this point, this radio is ready to go, and I finally can clean up my bench, because tomorrow I'm gonna work on the main ECU from Mercedes main ECU immobilizer, so that's a different story. Alright, so right now this is going to be all, and this is Victor at RestoreMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.